D. And I'm showing you this book again, America's National Parks, the Spectacular Forces That Shaped Our Treasured Lands. Now, I'm going to make a point, and I want you to pick up on certain things. This is how, when you do your research in different areas, you can pick up BS. And really, when you listen to a lot of this BS, you start to realize that everything you've been told in school or what's been taught as traditional education is a lie. That's why I can't stomach, I always say, a lot of these Pan-Africans, I can't stomach them because they haven't really studied anything. They're going by what was given to them, that was put in place by Negroes and white folks. And we have allowed outsiders to educate us in our history, and this is what you get. You get lost individuals who do not know who they are and what they are. Now I'm going to turn over to the back of the book. Alright. I'm going to show you this little map again. I don't know if I ever showed you this map, but this little map. Okay. Now you notice when you look at this map, you look at the spots where it's talking about the national parks. Alright. You got a few out east. Alright. But most of your national parks in the south. But most of your national parks, or bulk of your national parks, are really out west. Yet your national parks, most of the bulk of them are out west. Alright? Now the reason I'm saying that, because remember I told you about the Mississippi River? Our brothers and sisters, and travel north and south, and they hit very different channels, waterways to travel within North America, or what is now known as the United States. The waterways were used like ancient highways, like I stated before. And how they traveled using these very different highways or different waterways. Let me get closer. You had the Mississippi. Then you go on, you have over here the Missouri, the Arkansas River. But the different river channels, they'll catch on and they'll travel within the land. All right, now some of these river places or river channels have dried up over time, due to the environment, but he have all these national parks. So they was able to travel within the continent using very different types of boats and ships. See, Negro Pan-Africans will tell you that you came over here in a slave ship. I don't, man. This is how you can pick up on BS. When you study a lot of these national parks, many of them have carved up image. Some of them have rock painting, but many have carved up image of faces of humans or animals. But they have deteriorated over time due to weathering, different environmental circumstances. Right, but lots of it may have to do with weathering. It has just been unkept. So they have deteriorated over time. But when you look at a lot of stuff, you see pictures of or cut image of human beings or of animals. Like I said, you see image of us arches. They'll just tell you that there's just some rock formation, but when you look at it, you can tell someone built that, because the images or the lines are either too straight or is a line slanting over. Obviously, someone did some measurement and cutting. When you look at this stuff, like I said, this information in your face. Maybe some people, you have to be trained to some degree to see this stuff, but it's in your face. And it's really sad that so many people continue to listen to these Negro historians tell you that you're a slave from Africa. This goes to the Grand Canyon. When you look at a lot of those images, like the Grand Canyon National Park and these other national parks, like I just said, you can tell that has been carved in. And like I said, they probably used steel or iron, and they smelted iron, and they was able to cut into the damn rocks. So brothers and sisters use the waterways all over, but you have all these national parks out west. Notice that. Most of them are out west. Not to say there's none out east, because there's some out east, some in the south, but most of them are out west. I'm going to turn real quick. This is not a long video, but I'm going to show you certain things. Now look at this. Little rock art painting right there. Drawing right there. Painting right here. Different animals, but I want to show you something. I want brothers and sisters to pick up on when you smell BS. And I smell it all the time when I'm dealing with history and how we've been lied to about every damn thing about our history. But so many of us continue to believe that we're slaves from Africa and not really studying our history, yet we just want to be slaves. Now, I already showed you before. Look at how this is carved into rock. You see this with the Mali. Now, I showed you this image before. Alright? Cut into rock. Alright? Into that little rock cave right here. The structure. Right up in here. Now, I want to show you some other stuff. too. And I just had it too, man. I just had it. Other structures. You notice how the little rock up here, they just tell you natural geological formation. Don't buy that. Look at the little rock on top, right? Look at the little structures right here. Okay, I'm gonna go on. All right. And I want to show you the images. I'll try to find it because I just had it, man. The images I really want to show you. How you can tell that stuff has been carved into over time. But you really have to look at this stuff, man. You really, really, really have to look at this stuff because this stuff is really, truly is in your face. It literally is in your face. I mean, it's comical. Now, it's comical to me that people cannot tell that a lot of stuff has been cut into. They had ancient gardens, like I said, ancient geysers, water that filter out. They had all that here in ancient America. But like I said, you gotta get out of this mess and just think that we just came over here slaves. All right, that doesn't make any sense. You know, here's a structure, and you can see when you get closer, you can see that it was like cut into. This is out in the west. All right, let me go other areas that I can see, and I just had it in this book, and I want to present it real clearly. Now, I showed you pictures of Grand Canyon before, images of the Grand Canyon, how that was cut into. And more likely this is a different color at a particular time. You know, so you know the Grand Canyon had all those Egyptian god names, like I mentioned before. But this is one perfect example. You see, these look like these might have been little statues, some figure statues that was right here. Images, some statues that were here. It looks like a man that may be sitting or something, and his arms across. So you got to really look at it and tell. This is not no natural rock geological formation. This stuff was cut into. This is a lost ancient civilization that exists here in the Americas, but we've been told that we were slaves from Africa. Whatever, man. Whatever. Like I said, you can pick up on BS. Once you really study and notice certain things, and you study stuff for years, you can pick up on BS. You had natural rock in which they cut into the natural rock. And like I said, a lot of these images have human faces on there. This is a perfect example. These brothers and sisters climbed up mountains and they cut and they carved. Arches, being different concrete stairways or let me just say walkways. They did it all, but we had just been told, like I said before, we're slaves from Africa. A lot of these places used to have larger waterways, like I said before, and it just dried up over time. Um, they said they went to natural rock and cut and carved up in there. When you look at a lot, like I said, look at a lot of figures, you can look at it, you can tell those are faces. Back here look like it might have been two large statues back here. The stuff stands out, it's just so obvious. But when you look at it now, it may seem as rubble until you really intensely study and look at it. You can tell these were once large structures, but they've just been so old and they have been unkept. And the area, like I said, dried up was probably ancient lakes and rivers that once was there that was able to travel closer to with the equipment and cut and carve. But since that area dried up, like I said, and it's been abandoned, it just looked like total rubble. Okay, which is called an archway here. Images of like a little archway, ancient archway, big old. So it looked like it's been layered and like I said, painted in a different color. I don't buy this as just a natural rock geological formation because it just looks so obvious. You can look at certain parts where the images look like the rocks have been like cut and blocks and rocks are put on top of each other, lined. This is so obvious, man. This stuff is in your face. It literally is, man. It may be obvious to me because I study this, but it's really in your face, man. This stuff is in your face, man. And a lot of these rivers that they had over here were man-made rivers that they had. They did everything here in America. Our ancestors did everything, but we just been continuing to be brainwashed, like I said, to think of ourselves as slaves from Africa. And that is extremely ignorant and dangerous. But we're going to have to really study our history and really know our true history. But this information is literally right in your face. When you look at a lot of this rock, it was cut into. Because you look at the lines, they look too geometrically straight or angle. That obviously, like I said, they use some form of instrument to cut into and align and measure. This is just so freaking obvious. It's literally in your face. It really is. It really is. But it's just old and deteriorated. Little waterway. Yeah, like I said, over time, a lot of stuff dried up. So I want you brothers and sisters to continue to do your research, continue to not listen to that BS about we just came over here slaves from Africa, and that we descended of African slaves, and that a lot of the stuff that you hear about the empires here will make believe. Like I said, when you see a lot of these structures, they're so old, man. They're so old and they have been abandoned. And by being abandoned for so many years, it has not been kept up, so it just deteriorates. And this is what happened. Like I said, I come from a family of educators, and I know BS when I see it. I know BS when I see it, man. And I know that we've been here. We've been here. This is our history. This is our culture. We need to reclaim everything back. Stop allowing foreigners to tell you who you are. You're not descendant of African slaves. Most of our people did not come over no doggone slave ship or no damn boats. We were already here. And I'm going to say this again. The black civilizations of America were older. They took this knowledge from the Americas and they went to other lands. All right? They took this knowledge from the Americas, which is, and we look at these structures, how they carved into this rock. This is very old, man. This is very old. They took this knowledge and they spread this knowledge to other areas, particularly over to northeastern Africa. So it came from here. This stuff is old as hell, man. These carvings are old as hell. These fools can't really date nothing. So I'm going to stop right there. But I'm going to show you, like I said, majority of these doggone national parks are on the west coast. And like I said, they use the different river channels to travel in and out in very different type of boats, like I said, that can maneuver through these type of waterways. Some of the waterways are more narrower, some of them more like larger, but this is their highway, right? Not to say they didn't have the material to get off the waterways and may trek on foot or may use animal, but they use the waterway to do their big time travel, just like we drive in Interstate 80 and Interstate 57, whatever, but they use the waterway, all right? Very different water channels that you find throughout the Americas that were able to connect. Some are no longer here because it dried up, like I said, okay? All right, brother. So that's how a lot of I was able to pick up in BS, because when I look at a lot of those monumental structures, I can tell that stuff was carved in too. Images of human faces and animal faces, because you find it in Canada, and this stuff's been deteriorated. I mentioned before in Alberta, Canada, you find those same type of images, but they have very deteriorated. It just look like rubble now, because it has not been kept up, and some of it has been basically vandalized. All right, so I do not trust this government. I don't trust the Smithsonian, because there's so many lying bastards out here to cover up. So it's been a major cover up of our true history. A major cover up. A lie. And the narrative saying that we came over in slave ships, and when you really start studying that, it doesn't make any sense. We were already here. But you got to get out of your mind that our people did not travel and explore around the world. When I read you that book that I have inserted in my book, I'm gonna get it real quick, because I didn't really harp on it or talk about it, but I wanted you, hopefully you caught what I was reading at that time when I was reading from this book. And this is this one part, the one revisited, where I hope I can find a page where I talk about the selling. Oh, and I showed you this image of this book right here. And it shows you this ship, I suppose it's from East Africa. And notice a little animal figure front right here. But look at this right here. It says, well, I read it before, East African trading ship. Okay. A ship of great antiquity. It sailed the Indian Ocean between Africa and China, held together not by nails, but by palm fiber lashings. These ships could be as large as 70 tons. The one shown here is from a model in Fort Jesus Museum at the Mombasa. The Swahili transshipped an elephant to China in the 13th century. So they was able to transport animals with these damn ships. That's why you find images of certain giraffes over in Indian monuments carved into Indian structure over in India, because it was ships used there to carry that. And giraffes are located in a certain part of Africa, so they use ships to carry it. So brothers and sisters in the Americas use ships to carry different materials, travel within the terrain of the Great Lakes, or not just the Great Lakes, my bad, the different waterways and different river channels, and right off of there they built different structures, but they used the waterways to travel, to move about. They built various different types of ships. Notice I said right there that ship said they didn't have no nails. They had some ships that were just tied together by rope. And then you can disassemble it and put it back together. So, brothers and sisters, you really got to understand your true history. You're not descendant of slaves from Africa. That's a damn lie. And these Negroes who keep telling you that are ignorant, they're foolish, they're traitors, they're buck dancing sellouts. I'm telling you right now. Many of these Negroes have just gotten comfortable and they do not want to shake the tree. They want to sit up there and just live next to white folks, sleep next to white folks, smile and grin, eat caviar with them. This is how sick a lot of these Negroes are. But I'm telling you this, man. We've always been here. This is our land. And Negroes who try to tell you anything else have been heavily indoctrinated and they're just ignorant. I'm just going to tell you like that. Jabari, the Amara Squad, that Dr. Ma'at chick, Sarah Sunseti, they're ignorant, man. Don't pay no attention to them. They're ignorant. This information literally is sitting in front of your face. Literally, man. It's right in front of your damn face. Literally. This stuff is in your face. But you got to open your eyes to want to see this information. These Pan-Africans don't want to see it because they run the damn hustle game. And they're keeping you ignorant to who you really are and your true history. Like I said before, I picked up a lot of game, man. When I look at a lot of those West Coast, those national parks, those monuments, and you see that stuff was carved into, that is very old. And I mentioned before, the Miami Circle and a human complex that was like across the street in Miami, Florida, that is older than the pyramids of Giza. This information has been in our face. But we're going to have to want this information and stop being stuck on being a slave from Africa. We've been here. And it's not being ashamed, like I said. The people who deny this are ashamed of who they are, their true history, being Aboriginal black people of the Americas. They are ashamed because they do not want to upset their white, racist, liberal friends, so-called friends. It's in your face, brothers and sisters. This stuff is literally, and I mean this, and I may sound funny when I say this, but this is literally in your damn face. It really is. Peace and love.